With all the headlines flying around about GPT-5, it's so easy to just focus on the shiny new products OpenAI releases. But what's really going on behind the curtain? How does a company with a mission this big actually operate day to day? Well, we're going to pull back that curtain and get an inside look at the people, the culture, and the processes that are literally building our AI future. And it all starts right here. Now, this isn't just some corporate slogan on a poster. This is the foundational charter for the entire organization. The goal is nothing less than building AI that is smarter than humans, and then making sure it helps everybody. I mean, with a goal like that, the stakes just could not be higher. So, okay, you've got this galaxy-sized mission in mind. How does the team actually communicate and get stuff done? Well, it turns out it's mostly in Slack. And this contrast right here is what's so fascinating. It grounds this world-changing ambition in a surprisingly familiar reality. A company chasing AGI, well, it gets its work done a whole lot like the rest of us. All right, so here's how we're going to break it all down today. We'll start with that core mission, then we'll peek inside their pretty unique work culture. We'll look at how they tackle safety, meet some of the brilliant people on the team, and finally, look ahead to where this is all going, from assistants to agents. First up, let's dig a little deeper into that mission. Because really, it's the North Star that's meant to influence every single decision, every research project, and every product launch they have. So how do you protect a mission like that from just pure profit motives? Well, you create a really unique structure. OpenAI isn't your typical corporation. It's this hybrid, a research and products company that's governed by a nonprofit. This capped profit model is designed specifically to make sure that safety and benefiting humanity stay prioritized over maximizing shareholder returns. Honestly, it's a fascinating corporate experiment in its own right. Okay, so we understand the why. Now let's get into the how. What does the day-to-day actually look like for the teams building these world-changing models? The whole culture is just built for speed and adaptation. That heavy reliance on Slack isn't just for chatter, it's like the company's central nervous system. And get this, they even have their own internal AI agents living in their Slack channels to answer questions, which just streamlines everything. Their planning process isn't some top-down, year-long monster either. Nope, it's a lightweight, bottoms-up cycle that maps out the next 3 months. The key idea here is that plans are made in pencil, not pen. In a field moving this fast, you have to be adaptable. And maybe most importantly, they are constantly dogfooding, using their own powerful AI to help them build the next generation of AI. It is the ultimate feedback loop. Of course, with great power comes great responsibility, right? And that brings us to one of the most critical parts of OpenAI's work, safety. How do you build something that's smarter than a human and make absolutely sure it stays aligned with our values? I just love this quote from Integrity Lead Jake Brill. It perfectly captures the spirit of the safety and integrity teams. Think about it. If they do their job perfectly, you might not even notice they're there. They're the silent guardians, and it's a role that requires immense skill, but a very low ego, because the goal is to let the main product shine, but to do it safely. So their safety process, it's not a one-time checklist. It's a continuous loop. Before anything goes out the door, they identify the absolute deal breakers, the risks that must be handled. They build systems and tests, which they call evals, to address them. But they know they can't predict everything, so they deploy iteratively, they watch carefully how the tech is used and misused in the real world, and then they respond quickly to what they learn. So what exactly are these evals they talk about so much? Well, think of them like standardized data-driven exams for AI models. They test for everything from harmful biases and deception to dangerous capabilities. And they provide these objective scores that help the team decide if a model is truly safe enough for the public. They are the guide rails of the entire development process. And here's a concrete example of what that data-driven approach looks like. This table here compares different models on benchmarks like MMLU, which is basically a massive exam measuring knowledge and problem solving. You can see how they track performance across versions, from older open source models to their newer ones. Now, this isn't just about chasing high scores. It's about having an objective, measurable way to know if a model is getting smarter and if it's getting safer. At the end of the day, technology is built by people. So who are the minds behind these incredible breakthroughs? Let's meet a couple of the key figures who really represent the diverse talent at OpenAI. First, you've got Andrej Karpathy, a true pioneer in this field. I mean, the guy was a founding member of OpenAI, then he left to go lead the AI team for Tesla's Autopilot, and then he even came back for another stint. His journey just shows you the caliber of deep research talent that revolves around this company. And for a little bit of fun, his personal website notes that he's a member of the Order of the Unicorn, a little bit of quirky humor from one of the world's top AI researchers. It's just a great reminder that there's a human behind all that genius. But it's not all just deep learning PhDs. You gotta contrast Karpathy's path with Jake Brill's. He started with a degree in psychology, became the very first internal product manager transfer over at Facebook, and now he leads the integrity team at OpenAI. His journey just goes to show that building safe AGI requires this huge range of skills, everything from understanding human behavior to masterful product management. All right, so we've seen the mission, the process, and the people. Now for the final piece of the puzzle. Where is all of this heading? And maybe more importantly, what is it going to mean for all of us? This quote from Jake Brill, borrowing from the great Wayne Gretzky, it just perfectly frames the next massive shift in AI. For the last few years, the puck has been AI assistants, tools that answer our questions. But the future, where that puck is going, is AI agents. So what's the difference? Well, an assistant responds, you ask a question, it gives you an answer. Simple. But an agent acts. You give it a complex, multi-step goal, like, hey, plan my entire trip to Tokyo. And it goes out and performs the tasks on your behalf, booking the flights, finding hotels, creating an itinerary. It's a fundamental shift from a passive response to proactive action. And this shift is going to fundamentally change how we work. The real takeaway here is understanding the new skills we're all going to need to develop. We'll be managing teams that include both humans and AI agents. We'll have to get good at delegating complex tasks to an AI and trusting it to work on its own. And skills that are core to OpenAI's process right now, like rapid prototyping and developing evals to define success, those are going to become essential for everyone. Look, this isn't science fiction anymore. It is the emerging reality of our professional lives. The transition from assistants to agents is happening right now, and it's fundamentally reshaping what's possible. And that leaves us all with a pretty critical question to think about. The future of work involves managing AI agents. Are you prepared?